Our next speaker is David Cross, who is the current second vice chairman of the Georgia Republican Party and is running for chairman of the Georgia Republican Party. So he's coming to tell us about his campaign. David. Or I should say, Vice Chairman Cross, excuse me.
Good morning, everyone. I appreciate y'all coming out here today and participating in our election process. This is amazing. Today, we stand at what I think is a pivotal moment in the Georgia GOP. It's not just for our state, but it's also for the future of our Republican Party. Today, I want to talk about something that's been simmering under the surface for way too long: leadership, or the lack thereof, in the Georgia Republican Party. When the stakes are this high going into 2026, we can't afford to tiptoe around the truth. We need to call it like we see it. And you folks know that I'm a very straightforward kind of person. Gets me in trouble sometimes, but that's who I am. What I see is leadership that is failing our candidates, failing the grassroots, and failing to deliver the victories that we need in Georgia. Let's start with the obvious. Josh McCoon took the helm of the Georgia GOP in the summer of 2023. With big promises, he talked a good game about uniting the party, energizing the base, and turning Georgia into a red state powerhouse again. But nearly 2 years later, where are we? Look around. The party is still fractured, the grassroots are disillusioned, and they're shamed for supporting people like Charlize Byrd and Colton Moore. And we've gained exactly 0 seats in the legislature. Because under Josh McCoon's watch, there's been more infighting than action, more excuses than results, and a leadership style that is all, look at what I did. Josh seems to forget what I learned in football in high school. There is no I in team. Today, the grassroots, folks like you and me, are the lifeblood of this party. We're the future. He's done exactly 0 to engage the base. No meetings, no communications with you, no communication with the executive committee and the state committees in almost a year. And for the grassroots, no events and no support, 0 recognition of you. That's not hyperbole, all right? That is a cry that's coming from the heart of the party. McCoon was selected as a placeholder by David Schaefer. McCoon is not a leader. He's never run an organization with multiple teams, and he didn't seek anybody's help when it came to managing what we have right now. He seems to demoralize the grassroots rather than lifting them up, which is what I will do. When the people who knock on the doors and make calls and turn out the votes feel ignored, that is a problem, a big one. So let me ask you, is that the kind of leader you want driving the Georgia GOP in the future? Absolutely not. When it comes to transparency, and you know that I'll continue to be an open book, but the books of the Georgia GOP right now are shut so tight that the treasurer doesn't even have a chance to look at all of the accounts and all of the ledgers. And she's a CPA. Think about that. The person that is tasked with keeping the books and being a custodian of the funds of the party is locked out. We have no detailed reports, no open ledgers, just McCoon and his inner circle holding the keys. Social media has been buzzing about this for months, and the grassroots folks are demanding answers right now. Where's the cash going? We don't know, because McCoon's not telling us. We need our own Georgia GOP Doge audit. A chairman's job is to build trust, not breed suspicion. And this smells like a cover-up, or at best, a gross incompetence. So I ask you, do we want a Georgia GOP where even the treasurer can't see the books? I don't. Running a successful party requires time, talent, and treasure. How about the $30,000 of our treasure that the chairman spent on his first campaign piece a few weeks ago? It was mailed out to everybody here. It was a celebration of success. If it was a celebration of success for our team, Why was his face on 3 out of 4 pages in there? He didn't need to tell us that Trump won. Didn't need to spend $30,000. We knew that. The piece celebrated all of Josh's accomplishments. You'd think that the cash would be reserved for boosting candidates, rallying the grassroots, rallying voters, building a party, and building the party's brand. But it was a glossy self-promotion piece all about him. His face, his name, his promotion. $30,000 of our dollars to pat himself on the back while we struggle to bring in funds from Republicans. That's not leadership. That's vanity. People won't give to an organization that they don't know where the money is going. I was speaking to a gentleman last night that is worth 9 figures. He will not give to the Georgia GOP because of this, because of the lack of transparency. It's a slap in the face to every one of us who gives money expecting that our money is going to be fighting for the cause, not to fund a chairman's ego trip. Tell me, are we okay with your hard-earned dollars being wasted on McCoon's personal PR campaign? No. Now let's talk about elections, because that's the bottom line, right? Our job is to elect Republicans. McCoon loves to tout the 2024 win by Trump. Trump won Georgia by 50.7% versus Harris's 48.5%. He celebrated it, and yes, it's a victory. But let's not kid ourselves. That's a razor-thin margin of 2.2%. Georgia is no longer the Republican stronghold that it once was. We are a battleground on a slippery slope. The Democrats are doubling down on Georgia while McCoon takes endless victory laps. That's not a strategy. That's a gamble. My strategy is to create a Trump Force 47 clone on the ground here to win in 2026. I've spoken about my growth plan at other events, and in a nutshell, we are a membership organization. We have shared values, shared beliefs, and shared goals. If we build an organization that shows gratitude, respect, and transparency, we will retain our current membership and grow exponentially. If we hope to win in 2026 and going forward, we must have a solid growth plan. So where does this leave us? Today, March 15th, 2025, and the Georgia GOP still feels like a house divided. Grassroots versus establishment, activists versus insiders, vision versus stagnation. He's had his shot. And what has he delivered? A party that's treading water rather than charging forward. 2026 is looming. Ossoff Senate seat, statewide races, and we cannot limp into that fight. We need a chairman who unites and doesn't divide, who inspires and doesn't ignore, who wins big, not barely. I'm not here to tear things down. Don't get me wrong. I love this party. I'm here to build an amazing organization for all Republicans. I believe in our values, freedom, opportunity, and strength. But we deserve better than what we're getting. The chairman's failings aren't just his. They're ours if we let them stand. Let's call for leadership that listens, fights, and delivers. Georgia is too important, and this fight is too big for us to settle for less. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman.